you have an ileostomy, you know that the majority of your output is liquid. So we've got to put liquid back in. If you don't have a colon, then you're not getting the liquid back into your body that happens naturally. And most of your liquid, if you're like me, just goes out in the toilet after you empty your pouch. So, what do? I basically live on this stuff. And what this does is it's electrolytes, helps put more than just water back into my body, and helps keep me from being dehydrated. Something I struggle with a lot. Now, another important fact about hydration, it's not just the water that we take in, but it's also the food. And one of the foods that I have slowly gotten used to as an ileostomist, almost 4 years now, is fruit. And fruit can be scary to an ileostomist or an ostomist because it is fibrous, and that can possibly cause blockages at some points. Not for everybody, but certainly it's one of those things where we have to find out for ourselves exactly the type of food that works for us and what doesn't work. But for me, I was really missing a lot of fruit my first couple of years in, and I wanted to start trying something. So peaches are very helpful. They put water back into my system, and there's a little bit of fiber in that, and it's relatively fresh. Of course, I use a lot of canned because it's softer. But also mandarin oranges. I just love these. Now, these are canned, no sugar added, which means there is an artificial sweetener in there. And I wanted to bring that up as a point because it is artificial sweeteners that can also help increase the volume of our output, which means it's quite possible that we can be prone to dehydration. So we have to watch out for the artificial sweeteners. So I just kind of wanted to add that in there. But with this particular food, I'm actually getting my fruit, I'm getting a little bit of fiber, and I'm getting the liquid that I need. And when I ingest these, it actually slows me down enough so that I'm really retaining a lot of the water and the nutrients that I need. And so it's kind of like a double benefit because I'm not losing as much fluid. Now that brings me to another point, which is sodas, drinks that have artificial sweeteners in them, like my favorite diet ginger ale here. I love the ginger, I love the fizz. It helps with my upper digestion issues. But because of the artificial sweetener that's in it, whether it be sucralose or aspartame, doesn't seem to really matter with my body. It definitely thins out my output. Now, as I learn how to balance my fiber and my liquids, that can be helpful. And that's something that we all just have to find out on our own what works for us. But I do try to avoid having too many of these drinks in one day because it can definitely cause me to be dehydrated, or at least on my way to being dehydrated if I don't catch it. Well, I'll admit it, I am one of those people that absolutely loves their coffee. So what's wrong with that? So as a disclaimer, almost all the way through this video, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor, medical professional. I'm just somebody who is doing a lot of trial and error with their own medical issues and trying to see what foods, drinks, whatever activity works for me. But I will say that I have tested the caffeine coffee theory in dehydration, and I can tell you that as an ostomate, it definitely is not a beverage that I can have a lot of, even though I totally love coffee, love it. But there is something to coffee that completely thins out the output on me. And I know a lot of other ostomates feel the same way. It happens for them too. Doesn't mean I can't have it. I just have to be a little bit more vigilant about how much I have. And also, if I have coffee after I have an electrolyte drink and already have some food in my stomach, I can enjoy that cup of coffee and it doesn't thin me out nowhere near as much as if that was the first thing that I grabbed in the morning. So take that with a grain of salt or not. There's all kinds of studies out there that say the myth is debunked. Caffeine doesn't cause dehydration. It doesn't really matter if that's not what works for you. It's just not what works for you. If it does work, then great. Big part about being in this particular state of not having a colon is knowing that some things may work and some things may not. But also knowing that things can change because our bodies are continuously changing. Nothing really stays the same. And as our bodies get used to having quite a different way of elimination, processing, sometimes we notice that we actually get used to a particular food. And if we could eat it before, maybe we can't eat it now, and vice versa. So it's mostly important that we just try things out for ourselves slowly, carefully, and see what works for us. As for me, I'm going to keep having my coffee, but I'm going to do it a little bit differently just so that I don't dehydrate, because I know for me, I do. So hey, I hope this quick video about staying hydrated, the importance of hydration, some ideas on what to drink, what not to drink, electrolytes, powdered. I love the Noon. I just don't have any of it in the house right now, but Noon, Propel, and some things maybe to avoid, like a lot of artificial sweeteners, whether it be in food as well as drinks, and some things that you can do to help stay hydrated food-wise by taking in vegetables, canned fruits, things that are softer, but also watching how your body is affected by that. So hopefully this has been helpful. Feel free to leave me comments or questions, and I will see you on the next video.